Neon Studios, a look into Hollywood's biggest overnight success by Jordan Kin.
제시카 외동딸 일리노이 시카고 과선배는 김치모 그는 이사촌.
Formed in 2017, Neon Studios has quickly become one of the most successful film production companies in the industry and already has 12 Academy Award nominations. In January 2017, Neon Studios was a production company formed as a subsidiary of the Friedkin Group. During the 4 years since, Neon has garnered over 12 Academy Award nominations, and their most recent movie, The Killing of Two Lovers, has achieved critical acclaim. Like competitor Studio A24, Neon is a production company that is trying to promote diversity in the film world. They are also an indie film company, and most of their films have budgets of around $1 to $5 million. Their biggest success to date has been 2019's Parasite, but they've also released a plethora of well-received films in the past couple years. I, Tonya and gaining traction. Perhaps the film that put Neon Studios on the map was their 2017 hit I, Tonya, a biographical story that starred Margot Robbie. Part black comedy and part drama, I, Tonya resonated with audiences and found a perfect balance.
Made me to be the pile of crap. I never did this.
It received 3 Academy Award nominations that year, winning 1 and made almost 5 times its budget. I, Tonya cemented Robbie as a serious drama actress, especially after being a part of blockbuster films like Suicide Squad and then Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street.
Aren't you married?
Well, yeah, but what?
This film was as monumental for Robbie as it was for Neon, creating a huge amount of buzz for both. Embodying a real person allowed critics to examine Robbie's mannerisms in comparison to the real woman Tonya Harding, and the results were shocking. Before, Robbie hadn't been getting enough credit and was often written off as being used as sex appeal. I, Tonya proved any and all naysayers wrong, and Robbie earned her first Academy Award nomination for this film.
America, they want someone to love, but they want someone to hate.
In the next year, after I, Tonya, Neon Studios focused a lot on documentary work and other indie films. While none of them achieved the same amount of success as I, Tonya, many were received well. 2018 was the year where Neon really began to expand their studio and explore different genres from fantasy to battle rap.
I guess this is the future Drake wanted. What a time to be alive.
These rounds will leave you bleed.
However, it was 2019 when Neon would really become a household name. 2019's explosion of film Parasite and Portrait of a Lady on Fire. 2019 was one of the best years of the 2010s for film and had hits such as Parasite, Midsommar and Portrait of a Lady on Fire, 2 of those films which were produced by Neon Studios.
Quand vous êtes embarrassé, vous mordez vos lèvres. Vraiment. Quand vous êtes troublé, vous respirez par la bouche.
This year proved that Neon Studios were more than a one-hit wonder and that their choice of which films to distribute had weight to it. Both Parasite and Portrait of a Lady on Fire were huge steps forward in diversity, both in terms of race and in terms of sexuality. Parasite became the first non-English film to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards. In a year full of amazing movies, Parasite rose to the top of them because of its story, its cinematography, and its barrier-breaking qualities.
And the Oscar goes to Parasite.
While Portrait of a Lady on Fire was lesser known, it still received widespread acclaim and attention. Out of all the films released in 2019, it was the second best reviewed. As well as that, Portrait of a Lady on Fire delivered diversity for women loving women everywhere in a thoughtful, stirring way. This film had a unique female gaze which allowed the women to shine without being over-sexualized or treated as objects. Portrait of a Lady on Fire was a fairly quiet movie. Dialogue was absent more often than not. It was in its silence, in its tiny movements and forlorn looks that this movie shone and brought mainstream attention to LGBTQ+ stories.
C'est terrible. Parce que maintenant que vous me possédez un peu, vous m'en voulez? Non? Si?
After the success, Neon became widespread throughout the entire world. They may not have the same track record as A24 yet, but they're still an indie film production distribution company that needs to be watched. The level of films that they release is unheard of by a small studio, save for their main competitor, A24, and these last few years have really set these two studios apart from the others.
I'm just a curious person. What made you do it?
It was your masterpiece.
Neon is a film studio that seems devoted to diversity. Many of their films revolve around BIPOC or LGBTQ+ stories, and they've achieved a lot of attention for this. Even if their films aren't centered on LGBTQ+ stories or even BIPOC, they center women as the protagonists a lot. In a male-dominated industry, both on screen and off, Neon still seems determined to showcase women as more than side characters. A lot of their films take place in the perspective of women or have a woman part of the main cast that is vital for the story. No matter what the exact role is, Neon continuously highlights female stories and places women in positions of power in the films they produce and distribute.
What is it? Something? Nothing?
The future ahead. With the COVID-19 pandemic, 2020 was a bleak year for film across the world. Neon released a few films that received moderate success, but the lack of theatres or social gatherings made the film industry suffer. Even though the films released in 2020 weren't of the same quality as Parasite, 2019 was a hard year to live up to, even without a pandemic. As vaccines become more and more widespread, more news is stirring about further projects from Neon.
Si tu veux avoir une chance de survivre, finis jamais ton histoire.
While Neon's success seems to lie more in distribution than production, the years ahead will really determine that. 2021 has been off to a good start for them. They began the year with a documentary on arguably the biggest teen pop star right now, Billie Eilish, that was released exclusively on Apple TV. The documentary was well received, as well as a well-kept secret appearing and being released overnight. It gave a realistic look into the life of Eilish, and while some truths were uncomfortable, they were shown. One of the biggest plot points revolved around Eilish's relationship with a much older artist, which was explored throughout the film and resolved.
I look into the crowd and I see every single person in there is going through something.
This film gave fans a look into her life and a better understanding just of how insane her rise to fame was. 2021 also saw the release of The Killing of Two Lovers, a thought-provoking and at times jarring look into a broken marriage. Compared to other films like Manchester by the Sea and A Ghost Story, The Killing of Two Lovers was a perfect example of what Neon does best: personalized and intimate indie films.